Rob Sperry. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about the insights, the secrets, if you want to call them that, to millennials. I think it's the most misunderstood industry. So millennials are 18 to 35 years old. Millennials are known as the entitled generation. They're known as those that don't want to work. They're known as those that can't commit to anything. They're known as those that can be lazy and don't do anything. So I'm going to give you my opinion on millennials. I know that each generation do have some massive weaknesses, but I want to focus on some of the strengths and some of the misconceptions. I want to focus on some of the secrets and some of the insights. So when I look at the millennials, the first thing to understand is 50% of the workforce is going to be those millennials or Gen Y by 2020. By 2025, it's going to be 75% of the workforce. So the first thing you understand is they're no longer the future. They're pretty much the present. They're no longer something that, maybe I figure them out, maybe I don't. You better start figuring them out because that's a big part of your business. And I feel like too many groups and too many companies are treating millennials like the side of the side. That doesn't work if they're like this side project. They've got to feel important and empowered. My experience, and I'm going to read off a couple statistics that I wrote down, is that they're the most giving generation. When I started doing research years ago on the millennials, about 4 years ago, I found that they've donated more time than any other generation. They donate more than the baby boomers and Gen Xers. So they're very, very principle oriented where they want to donate. It's the studies or the stats show that 81% have donated money, goods, or services. The other thing is, as far as understanding them, is 75% see themselves as authentic and they're not willing to compromise their family or personal values. And then the other statistic I wrote down is 61% of millennials are worried about the state of the world and feel personally responsible to make a difference. So that's one of the common myths that people don't know is you see nowadays that all these millennials are traveling and they're going on these trips all around the world because they want to give back. Old school was charity where you just donated money and it was like, okay, I've donated money, peace of mind, don't bother me. Nowadays it's like they don't want to donate money. They want to go do something. They want to be a part of something. They want to feel connected to the world. And here's one of my biggest insights. In a world where we're more connected than ever before via social media, we're also more disconnected than ever before because we're texting our best friends that are right next to us. We're looking on Instagram, Facebook, social media, or we're looking at all the social media platforms like Snapchat. And so we're not talking or conversing as much. And so I feel like there's a void where this generation even more so wants to experience life. They want to be part of something. They want to do something. The next thing is they're coachable. I give a personal development book to, and I'm generalizing, to a baby boomer, Gen Xer, and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard that, I've read that. I give it to a millennial and they're like, this is the greatest thing that I've ever read. And they're extremely excited about it. So understand that they're extremely coachable. One of the statistics that I wrote down is 41% of millennials do what their managers tell them to do, which is greater than the older generation. So they're a lot more coachable than you think. The other thing to understand is they want to feel appreciated more than any other generation. 84% say that helping to make a positive difference in the world is more important to them than personal recognition, but they also say that 92% believe that business success should be measured by more than profit. So they think a lot bigger. They think in the intrinsic values. They're much more aware these days with the information age and with the internet. One of the other things I really want to point out is they're entrepreneurial. Network marketing is like a perfect platform. 54% either want to start a business or have already started a business. These days, Gen Y or millennials would rather make $2,000 a month. Again, I'm generalizing, but they'd rather make $2,000 a month and own their own business and have the financial freedom and time freedom, and they can travel and work when they want, than have a job where they make $4,000 a month and they have to work 60 hours a week. Lifestyle is more important than ever, and in large part it's because of the impact of social media, where they see what's possible and they see that you can actually live life, that you can enjoy your relationships, you can hang out with people, you can create memories. And so their perspective on what's important in life and their values on what's important in life is so much different with social media. Back in the day, it was like you had to show time in the office, right? It was like whoever's the last person leaving the office was the best. Nowadays, many of the millennial type companies like Red Bull, they don't even have vacation days. Like there is no set amount of vacation days. It's just get the job done or you're fired. So it used to be where you didn't have cell phones and internet, and now companies are starting to adapt of these kids want to go, and I'm one of them because I'm at the older end of it. But we want to work. If we want to go to the lake, let us go to the lake. We'll send out emails and texts and make calls at 10 p.m. at night, but we will get the job done. We want that time freedom. We don't want those handcuffs. The last thing I really want to point out is the loyalty factor. Employers aren't loyal these days. Employers fire people right and left. Employers, their goal is to be able to keep you by paying you the least amount. That's the goal of most employers. So the employees or the individuals in network marketing, we feel like they aren't loyal. I've actually found that because of their connections with friendships, that if you treat them well, if you focus on the giving back aspect and making it bigger than just the business and the money, if you focus on the personal development, you focus on the camaraderie, and yes, of course, it's still a business. You need to have some sort of success, but the business behind the business are all those intangibles. I found them to actually be the most loyal group. I found them to be the group that can work harder than any other group because for them, working is hanging out with their friends. They're always talking to people. They're always meeting new prospects. They're hanging out till 1 a.m. I've gotten so many calls from Gen Y and millennials after midnight because they're always working. Whereas when you're older and you've got a family, like me, I've got 4 kids, it can be much, much more difficult to be able to do it. So I feel like there's a ton of myths. I feel like you better figure it out because they're no longer the future. They're the present, and they're becoming the largest and the most important generation. They're the most connected via social media. They have a lot more contacts. They have a lot more influence because of social media, and they set the trends of the world. So go figure it out and understand who they truly are and see them for who they can be, not for just all their weaknesses, because we all have weaknesses. But if you treat them right, they will treat you right.